Hey there friendos, what's up? Welcome back to your channel. It's your boy Matt and we are back once again with some more Marvel Future Fight content. Just a quick PSA before we get into the topic of today's video. You may have probably already seen this and already collected it by now, but just in case you haven't, over in the notice tabs there is sorry for the inconvenience with 3 sets of 50 boost points, which is kind of annoying because it makes you think, oh, they're giving us 3 lots of 50 boost points. They give it to you automatically. It goes straight into your current tally, so whatever you're on, make sure you're fully maxed up to 100, because it just adds it straight to your tally. It doesn't go into your inbox, you can't use them separately. Just wanted to let you guys know. So unfortunately, unlike a lot of the other content creators, we are not going to be seeing tier 4 Iron Man on this channel anytime soon. Unfortunately, with the old Saltines, or whatever they're called, I have had terrible luck, and even worse luck with the books. Not the tier 3 books, but the Book of the Vishanti. Yes, we have one. And I've just noticed it actually says Blast next to it, so that's interesting. Will we, because it's Iron Man and he's Blast, I've only just noticed that. Huh. Will we get them for each? But yeah, you can see I've recently taken War Machine to tier 3 specifically for Tony, in order to push him as and when I can actually get enough of his materials to get into tier 4. But since I'm a very small YouTuber and I can't afford to be paying for materials, it's going to be a while. However, all is not lost in this update. We've obviously managed to get Blade tier 3, we've got War Machine to tier 3. I did actually get in Dimension missions the other day. I got Weapon Hex Bio, so I could finally naturally tier 2 her, and I got Nadia Van Dyne, who recently got her Transcendence. So I'm going to either awaken her or Nova Sam Alexander. I was mashing up both Novas there. But if you want to let me know which one you'd rather see, then just give us a shout in the comments below, whether it's Nova or Wasp, and I shall get that done in the near future for you guys. But what we're actually here to talk about is Epic Quests. So we'll just flip over to my free-to-play account. I think this gives a better example of what we're talking about. So today we're going to have a look from a free-to-play or new low-spending player, a new player perspective, and we're going to see, is the Epic Quest really worth investing in 2022? Now, for a start, Doctor Strange doesn't have anything in terms of actual crystal cost to invest. As you can see, we're pretty close to the end of this actual Epic Quest. It'd be nice if they had a little percentage up in the top left corner or something to say where you are. But as you can see, we're currently working on getting bios for Satana and also Clear in order to get them up to 6 star. In terms of the actual characters you get from the Epic Quest, I mean, they're all free, none of them cost you anything, like I say, because this is a no cost Epic Quest. Caecilius is useless, Ancient One has a tier 3, Wong now has a tier 3, Baron Mordo has a Transcendence. He's not really as useful as we would have liked, but Wong certainly is useful, and Ancient One, I'm sure her leadership is going to come really in handy in future content as people are pushing higher and further up the game. Unfortunately, in terms of the Dark Dimension, we haven't seen anything for Satana, Hellstorm and Clear. A lot of people were speculating that we may get a deluxe pack for this Doctor Strange Epic Quest with the arrival of Doctor Strange 2. That hasn't happened as yet. I don't know if they're going to do a part 2 when it drops on Disney Plus for people who haven't seen the film or who weren't able to go to the cinema. It would be nice to see them do a part 2 for Doctor Strange 2. Get some additional characters maybe. It'd be great to see Captain Britain, Peggy Carter, but I guess that's just not going to happen. I don't know what's happening with character 250. They really seem to be dragging that one out. So is it going to be gore? Who knows? So yeah, Doctor Strange Epic Quest, it's free and it's just something to grind along. I wouldn't say it's worth pumping resources into, but you know, you get a free Doctor Strange out of it. and he's certainly useful these days with his latest uniform, so that one's good. And now we come to the first of the deluxe packs, and once upon a time this was super worth it. You can see I've been pushing to get some of the rewards here, but I've kind of just left it now that I completed it, because whilst we all remember the good slash bad old days, depending on whether you had her or not, Jean Grey was toxic. She was so toxic. She reigned over the timeline meta with an iron fist. Not Iron Fist though, unfortunately. He's always been crap, but that's another story. Anyway, yeah, Jean Grey used to be worth it. Magneto has never really been super worth it, so jury's out on that one. Then we come to the Deadpool epic quest, and whilst I do love my Betsy, and her latest uniform really does make her very useful, I wouldn't say she's meta. She was nearly on the cusp of it when it came out, but yeah, sadly not really. And you can see that out of all the characters we get, Strife never had anything. He still hasn't had anything. No tier 3, no awakening, no uniform. And out of all the characters you get in this epic quest, the only one people use out of all of them nowadays, despite how popular Deadpool is Colossus. And let's be honest, the only reason why is because of his passive, which is great for timeline battle. You can see I've only got his uniform at normal here, but because of the uniform, either this or the Phoenix Horse one, yeah, it's really the only use out of any of those characters. I mean, the free characters are good, and you know, you can slowly build them up whilst you're doing other content, or if you don't have any other content to be really pushing yourself for, you know, Domino and Phantom X are great for Shadowland. They're good utility characters, but again, nothing. So now we get to the fourth epic quest, and probably the first one that's kind of worth it. I'm currently working my way through. This is the only one I'm actually putting any time and effort into really so far. We only finished the epic quest for Wolverine because it's a relatively easy one to do, especially when you get your daily drops from Dimension Mission, those boxes with the bios for X-Gene characters. So you can see we have transcended Human Torch just because he's worth it. Other characters really aren't. Unfortunately, as great as Doctor Doom is, and Doctor Doom is really meta, the character you have to buy in order to get him, Invisible Woman, really isn't. And Mr. Fantastic and Thing, really, the only reason you'd build those up is to have them as supports for Human Torch, really. Victorious has a good leadership for Doctor Doom, but it's not the best leadership, and considering the content he's useful in, she's not the character for that, unfortunately. You know, endgame content, she hasn't got a Transcendence or a tier 3, so we can't use her in that. And in timeline battle, there are other characters who are going to give better buffs for the whole team as a whole, like Molecule Man or Hela, etc, etc. So unfortunately, that's 4 down, and so far nothing. And this is even more of a nothing. I haven't even bothered with this. As you can see, it costs a lot of materials to keep going to get Beta Ray Bill anywhere, and the money could just be better spent elsewhere. The gold could be just better spent elsewhere. If you look at the actual characters you get from the deluxe pack and from the entire collection, Gladiator, just not worth it. Richard Rider Nova, just not worth it. So I don't even have that on the main account. It's the only deluxe pack I have never bought because there's just no value there. Absolutely no value there. And whilst Beta Ray Bill was pretty meta for a while, in terms of elemental characters at least, with Thor 4 coming out, and now with tier 4s, I can see Thor becoming one of the next tier 4s. And so it really does put a big question mark over Beta Ray Bill. So this is the first character who actually purchasing the deluxe pack is worth, and that's Moonstone. Whilst you can make the argument for buying the Fantastic Four deluxe pack for the character you get by completing all the characters, Doctor Doom, This one, whilst Molecule Man is a great utility and definitely a great timeline character, it's actually Moonstone herself who makes this really worth it, and that's because she is really meta for clearing PvE content. However, given the really prohibitive cost of Sentry and how much it costs in terms of resources to get him to anywhere, let alone to finish this epic quest, I'm wondering if the moment has really passed on this epic quest now. Considering the cost, 6,600 crystals for Moonstone, and you could say that she is worth it, but considering how much you have to pump into Sentry materials wise in order to get that team, Sentry, fully finished, Molecule Man and Moonstone, you could say, well, okay, Sentry takes ages, he really takes ages. Could you be spending those resources on other tier 3s? Potential tier 4s? Probably want to be doing that. We don't know if Thor most likely is going to get a tier 4 for Thor 4 Love and Thunder, so maybe that'll make him PvP focused. It's worth bearing in mind. It is worth bearing in mind, I think, at this point in the game's lifespan or life cycle. Molecule Man, again, he's another great PvP character, so you do have 2 PvP characters in there, but for the cost, it is worth bearing in mind nowadays, with the meta having shifted since the day when Sentry was by far the standalone top of the meta character. We have Spider-Man, who's completely free to play. He's great for PvP. Like I said, we got Colossus, we got America Chavez as support characters instead of Molecule Man. And then if we go and look, these characters are actually worth it now. Emma Frost, 2,500 crystals. Rather than buying a deluxe pack, you could get Emma Frost and then get her uniform. Could be a really wise investment. And again, Adam Warlock here, more prohibitive cost-wise. He costs exactly the same as a deluxe pack. Certainly I put him over 4 of the deluxe packs from what we've looked at so far. But there is a real argument there as to whether or not you want to really push through and build out Sentry before focusing on other characters, or do you just want to spend the crystals and get someone like Emma Frost and get her uniform and have them straight away? Because if you buy the deluxe pack, you're still going to have to build up Sentry, which takes a lot. And that brings us to the last, and probably in 2022, maybe the only last useful epic quest that you really, as either a beginner or a new player or a low spending player, want to be focusing on. And that's because even though it's 2 deluxe packs, or quest packs as they're called in this case, for 4,400, you do get a discount, so it brings it down to around, I think it's 6,500. But you do get characters who are really worth it. Again, you have to buy their uniforms. But the 3 characters it gives you access to, in terms of Makari, we know how meta Makari is. She is one of the top PvE characters and she blows away a lot of the competition. Gilgamesh has utility as a PvP player, but unfortunately he's never really reached the heights that we would have liked. But the real deal is Thena, because she absolutely crushes Dormammu, no matter what day it is, no matter the type enhancement. She has proven herself to be very good for pretty much all PvE content, whether it is Giant Boss Raid, whichever one you're doing, Dormammu or Master Mold or Galactus, whether it's World Boss Legend, whether it's Dispatch Mission, she can clear everything. So even though the likes of your Kingo's here isn't super useful for, well, much/anything, at least you get him transcended by doing the epic quest. The same with Cersei, you get them transcended. Whereas the other characters, you look at the other epic quests, you get them to 6-star, maybe tier 2, and then anything else you want to do, you have to do yourself, which means you don't get any rebate, any materials back. Which is also, I think, at this stage in the game, it's worth bearing in mind. You know, at least you get them fully built out on the Eternals Epic Quest. So I think that's another thing that really sort of swings in its favour. So there we go. There is our Epic Quests as they stand in 2022. And I do say, if you're not playing them, or you're not spending money on them, maybe you shouldn't. You know, maybe there are other areas in the game now, where we are with the meta as it currently stands, that you don't want to. But if you are going to spend money on any of them, like I say, unless you have a real preference for a particular character, or unless we get an update soon which negates what I'm saying, then Eternals is the only one to get. But anyway, that'll do for now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care for now. Bye.